Good morning. This is Larry Berman speaking. I'm talking to you. This is video number 24 of my series about the book that I am writing called Prayer. Why is it so difficult and how to overcome it? This is the proposed copy of what the book is going to look like. And as you can see, it's pretty thick. There's all these pages here. And there's actually more pages that I haven't even printed yet that goes into the book. Originally, I planned on having this book completed by January, but some things have changed in my life, such as the fact I'm getting married in January, praise God. And so there's Alice, my fiance, who I adore, is going to be getting on the road with me after we're married, February or March, where should be nothing left to be done except for chapter 3 of the book. I apologize to those of you who have been through this intro before, but there are people coming in all the time who have not seen the other videos. They always come to the latest video. And so just a quick recap, that's a weird word. A recap of the book. Chapter 1 talks about the invisibility of God. We're finite, he's infinite, and it's very difficult to have a relationship with an invisible being. So chapter 1 addresses that and why God is invisible, why there's angels and demons that are invisible. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is my testimony. I'm born and raised a Jew. I'm Hebrew. And I made a discovery. I was going to say transition. I made a discovery that Jesus is indeed the Messiah. Actually, his name is not Jesus. His actual name is Yeshua. Jesus is the Greek word for him, the Messiah. And so I made a discovery that Yeshua is the Messiah, and I gave my life to Christ. I didn't transition or convert from Judaism to Christianity because really it's one thing. Jesus was a Jew. The whole Old Testament, which I like to call the first covenant, is all of Hebrew base. And when Jesus died on the cross to fulfill the law, the new covenant, the second covenant of grace and forgiveness came into being. And they continued amongst their being Hebrew and amongst their Hebrew ways, but they were not so bound to the law. So it isn't a conversion to Christianity. It's a continuation. So I gave my life to the Messiah, who filled me with the Holy Spirit, absolutely changed me. I spent the last 47 years. In previous videos I said 45 years, but I had to recalculate 47 years in the Lord. So I've got 47 years of experience as a Christian. And also I spent 27 years in the military. There's my shadow box, where I spent 13 years in the Army, and I spent 14 years in the Coast Guard. So I have 27 years in the military. I'm retired now. And I was an Army medic and a Coast Guard medical corpsman. In fact, I was actually in the Army I was an instructor for the Academy of Health Sciences. And also in the Coast Guard, I was an independent duty corpsman and got a lot of medals, as you can see right here. I got medals because I followed the Lord and I was obedient and I had a good attitude, and so the Lord blessed me. But that's chapter 2. Sorry it took so long with that. Chapter 3 is the one that's going to take money, because I'm going to be going with Alice. There's a number of different well-known pastors and musicians that I believe that the Lord is going to open up the door for me to interview and talk about their prayer life. Chapter 4 is a techniques chapter. what techniques in prayer works for me, what techniques in prayer works for them, what techniques that we use to help get to the highest levels of prayer to where you actually feel like you're in the presence of God so strong that there's like the Holy Spirit is powerful and angels are nearby. And whew, that's chapter 4, techniques chapter. Chapter 5 is the final chapter of this book, which talks about the fact that the Lord is coming back. And so therefore, how do we align our prayer life with the Lord's coming back? How do we be on his A team to help him come back? He's not coming back unless there's a lot of prayer, because the bride has to be perfect, and all the time of the Gentiles has to come in, and certain things have to happen with Israel. And so chapter 5 talks about how to align ourselves to be part of God's team to usher him in. There is a supplement to this book, which is a 365-day devotional totally devoted to prayer. So that's what's coming up, and we hope to have that done sometime mid-next year. So why these videos? The reason I'm doing these videos is to let you know that I just dropped the book. This will be funny. I could cut this out, but actually, I'm just going to leave it in because it just shows the humor of life. Okay. So anyways, okay. So the reason we're doing these videos is because we have already begun to start the ministry of reconciliation. The reconciliation is reconciling people back to God. If you have a difficulty in your prayer life, it makes it really hard, very difficult, in order to, how do you reconcile back to God? How do you talk to God if you have difficulty in your prayer life? So that's what the whole book and the ministry is all about. These videos are to help the viewer have a more effective prayer life. So anyways, today, episode number 24, we're going to revisit a subject that we did in video number 18, which is why is it so difficult to get answers from prayer? What do you do when you're not getting your answers? So we're going to talk about that. So first of all, I want to talk about Job for a minute. Job was a guy, if you know the story, Job was a perfectly righteous man. And because of some dialogue between Jesus and Lucifer, Job was tested. And the benefits of the testing is the fact that we all get to learn from what Job went through. It also talks about God's testing and God's faithfulness, the story of Job. Well, one question is that a lot of people have is, how long did Job suffer before he actually got the answer from God? Well, the word does talk about months that Job went through this. In fact, in Job 7:3, it says, "So I have been allotted months of futility, and wearisome nights have been appointed to me." And in Job 29:2 says, "Oh, that I was in months past, as in the days when God watched over me." Also, Job 30:16 and Job 30:27 talks of the days of affliction. In Job 2:13, his friends sat with him. This is amazing. His friends sat with him for 7 days and 7 nights without even saying a word to him. They just sat with him. Nowadays, you have to take time off from work and vacation time. And it'd be very difficult unless a person was totally retired to be able to sit, or unemployed, to be able to sit with somebody 7 days and 7 nights. And they did that without speaking. So I said in video number 18, I talked about the same subject it's a subject that won't go away. If people got answers to their prayer like that, it would be so easy to believe in God. It'd be so easy to continue in prayer because you got instant results. I know being finite, if I go to, one of my friends, or if you go to one of your friends and you say, hey, would you go over there and get me that book, please? They just get up and go and get the book, and there you have an instant answer. Or if you say, why did you fire me? So say you went to an employer. Why did you fire me? The employer would say, because you're not up to performance. Okay, instant answers. Finite, we love instant answers. But with God, we don't often get instant answers. And so it frustrates people. So even though I talked about this in video 18 this morning, I got up, I felt like the Lord wanted me to address it again. And so hopefully there'll be some new insight to you that'll help you, because God is the Lord of timing. So somebody's going to be watching this and will get the answers that they need. Okay, so in video number 18, I talked about two different examples from the Word, which is the unjust judge, which is Luke 18, 1 through 3. And then I also talked about the story, these are Jesus' parables, about the man who comes at midnight to his neighbor and says, please give me some bread. And the neighbor says, go away, everybody here is sleeping. And the neighbor keeps knocking on the door and eventually says, if I don't give this man some bread, he's never going to let me sleep. So the man gets what he wants. So the story of the unjust judge and the story of the friend that comes at midnight in Luke is examples of persistence. But there are a couple other things that will hinder our answers to getting prayer. And it has to do with our relationship with God. One of the things that is paramount to getting answers from prayer through our relationship with God is not being unforgiving towards people. I did another video. What was it? Was it my last video or the one before that? I did it on forgiveness and unforgiveness. Either 23 or 24 was on, either 22 or 23, I think, was on forgiveness. If you don't forgive, walk into a state of forgiving everybody who offends against you, it will block God from answering you. The whole kingdom principle of forgiveness is so huge. We talked about where if your brother offends you 7 times in one day and comes back to you 7 times in one day and asks for forgiveness, Jesus said you have to forgive them. And then also, how many times must I forgive my brother? You must forgive your brother 70 times 7, which comes out to, I think it's 240 or 260 times. Unforgiveness is a principle that belongs to the kingdom of hell. Unforgiveness opens your body to demonic attacks. It opens your body to persecution from the demonic world. There's been all kinds of studies about people who have unforgiveness and they have bitterness, and it has led to cancer because they get eaten up with cancer as a result of their bitterness and unforgiveness. I talked about a book by John Bevere called The Bait of Satan. Okay, The Bait of Satan. Great book. And the bait of Satan is unforgiveness. And so, okay, don't do it. You can't walk in unforgiveness and then expect God to answer your prayer. No, you got to forgive somebody totally. And as I said, there has to be fruit. If you're going to forgive somebody, what's the evidence that you forgive somebody? You can't say, I forgive them, but I will never trust them, but I never want to see them again. Do you want Jesus to forgive you like that? Well, we're his kids. We're following his kingdom. can't do that. I suggest that if you absolutely forgive somebody, that go buy them a meal, go get some chicken wings, go buy them a gift, let them know that you absolutely restore them. Something, there has to be some evidence of fruit that you absolutely forgive them. The other thing that will prevent you from getting answers to prayer is disobedience. If let's say you have a particular addiction, you're addicted to cigarettes, you're addicted to alcohol, you're addicted to lying, you're addicted to stealing, you're addicted to, how many addictions are there out there? Let's say that God has been talking to you, got to get rid of that. Or let's say that you're in a relationship, a physical relationship with somebody that you're not married to. Oh, you think you're going to get answers to prayer then? No, you're not, because you're walking in disobedience. Kingdom living isn't easy, but it's liberating. It's full of fruit. The word says that eye has not seen nor ear heard the things that God has in store for those that love him. Well, it's easy to say, I love you, but where's the fruit? Obedience is fruit of loving somebody. Or acts of service is an example of showing that you love somebody. So I do want to give you two examples of where answers may not come in on time. One example is like these glasses. I have been wearing these glasses since, well before I was 13 years old. I've probably been wearing glasses. Well, since I was an underage kid, I've been wearing glasses. I gave my life to Christ when I was 20 years old, and I asked the Lord many times to heal my eyes. In fact, you know something? I noticed there were a lot of preachers, a lot of men of God that still wear glasses, but yet they lay hands on people and they get healed, but yet they still wear glasses. And some that don't wear glasses are wearing contacts, so you can't tell. So I don't have an answer as to why God has not completely healed my eyes, but that doesn't matter. I trust him. I've asked, and I've got to the place to where I probably don't even ask. I don't think I ask anymore because it's just irrelevant. I have glasses and I am able to see very effectively. Or I can have keratotomy. I can have laser surgery and have my eyes fixed. Yes, I would rather give God the glory, God the credit for fixing my eyes, but it has not happened yet. So do I get bitter over that? No. Okay, another thing is, a year ago, I went through a divorce. Divorce is horrible. Oh my gosh. Such pain, such disruption of one's human spirit, such questioning of oneself, such, why did this happen? Divorce is horrible, man. I'm telling you, sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. I can't go into the details about why my ex and I got a divorce. Obviously, it's private. But for years, we were married for 32 years. And I prayed a gazillion times. I prayed and asked God for healing of our marriage and deliverance, and it did not happen to the point to where I had to break it off. That was a year ago. So I'm on my face, I'm crying, I'm praying, I'm writing prayer journals, after the divorce. And then the Lord brought me Alice, who is not only my dream come true, but I could not have asked. I didn't even know I could have the qualities that's in her. So he was faithful. He didn't heal that marriage, or, we all know the story of, Hosea, where it's an example, it's a story of God's faithfulness to Israel, that even though the fact that Israel was an adulteress, even though the fact that Israel had worshipped other gods, God never divorced Israel. God still has a covenant with Israel. And when we take our marriage vow that says for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, and sickness and health, oh, I hate those vows. Because the worst part is worse. And the worst part is horrible, horrible living. And even though God would prefer that we stay with somebody forever, there is forgiveness. There is, oh my gosh, is there forgiveness if we do divorce. There's understanding. There is grace, which I'm not encouraging you to get a divorce, but I'm saying to you that God was faithful. I asked him to heal. Asked him to heal our marriage for whatever reason. And I asked him a lot. I prayed and I worshipped. Believe me, he could not put that together again. And I know exactly what the reasons are. I can't. Oh man, I want to go into all that, but I can't. But he didn't heal it. Got a divorce. He forgave me, set me free, and gave me my dream come true. It doesn't always happen that way. How many times have people been married 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and they still don't ever get it right? Let's not get into the story of divorce. The point of the matter is, a lot of times, every one of us has situations where we prayed about something and did not get the answer the way we wanted our answer. And so what do you do about that? You have to understand the nature of God. God is faithful. God is full of love. God is positive. God cannot do anything evil. He cannot do anything that will hurt you. He cannot do anything that is diabolical. Can't. That's not him. That's not who he is. That's not his character. So if you don't get your answer and it doesn't come from disobedience or it doesn't come from unforgivingness, just love him. Just let it go. Just say, I praise you. I worship you. I adore you. I've asked you for this. You know the end from the beginning. You know what I need. I trust you as a father. I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. I put it in your hands. I don't doubt you. I just worship you. I may ask you again and again and again over for this particular thing as it teaches, that Jesus teaches in Luke. But I trust you, God. I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. And I got to tell you, God is also the creator of timing. Sometimes it's a matter of perfect timing. God was getting me ready for Alice while God was getting Alice ready for me, even while I was married and in a divorce. You talk about God works in mysterious ways. Anyways, so you're asking God to help you with an employer. You're asking God for healing from such and such a thing. God cannot do anything evil or bad to you. Sometimes it's a matter of perfect timing. Sometimes it's a matter of no. So far, my glass has been a matter of no, but I know that when I get raptured and I get a brand new body, who cares? Who cares? The glass is going to be replaced anyways. Maybe he thinks I'm better looking, with glasses on. I don't know. I just trust him. So that's all I have in this particular video today, is just trust God. Be persistent, according to Luke. The story of the unjust judge and the story of the neighbor who comes at midnight to visit his neighbor looking for bread. Walk in unforgiveness. You have to walk in obedience and trust God. Absolutely trust God. Okay, that's the end of video number 24, with the one exception of house business. You'll see in the comments section, there is my email address. Send me stories. What works for you? What doesn't work for you? What questions that you may have. Also, if you dialogue with me through my email address, larryjberman11@gmail.com, who knows? Your story may end up in my book with your permission, obviously, but or at least we can become friends and dialogue a little bit, whatever. There's a link to my Facebook page There's also a GoFundMe account. Listen, it's a matter of you have to pray about it. I'm hoping that some more people will sow into this ministry. I believe it's good soil. It's a matter of the minister of reconciliation. This is my calling. I plan to, after the book is published and the supplement is published, I've got other books I want to write, but I'm believing that God's going to let me go on speaking tours, book tours and speaking engagements, where I'm going to be, Alice and I are going to be going around the U.S. and the world, whatever, to help reconcile people with their prayer life. And we'll just have to see how that manifests. But chapter 3 is the money chapter. Chapter 3 is the one that's going to cost a lot of money because I've got to go around the U.S. Interviewing a number of people. So whether I can drive there in my car or whether I fly there, it's just going to cost bucks to do that. But, chapter 3 will be a fantastic addition to this book. How would you like to hear stories about prayer from Franklin Graham? With Billy Graham's son? How would you like to hear stories about prayer from Kenneth Copeland or Joyce Myers, or there's a number of other people? How would you like to hear stories about prayer from Michael W. Smith or Jeremy Camp, Amy Grant? We'll see. We'll see how that manifests itself. In fact, I also plan on going to Albany, Georgia, which is the home of Sherwood Baptist Church and the Kendricks Brothers films, like Flywheel, Facing the Giants, Courageous, Fireproof, those kinds of films. I plan on going up there. We plan on going up there and actually interviewing them. So chapter 3 is a mind-blowing chapter. And it's going to take some money. So if God puts it on your heart to sow into this ministry, be obedient, please. Okay, thank you. I did say in other videos that I would be making videos every single day other than Sabbath. It doesn't work. It's just, I have a job, full-time job. I have a full-time job. I also have to exercise. I go to church. I have responsibility. I have so many responsibilities. I just can't make videos every single day. So as of video number 24, I plan on doing these videos at least once a week. That's fair. And maybe even twice a week, depending upon how the Spirit moves. So I'm no longer going to be doing this every single day. Be it well known. I'm not going to do this every day. I just can't. But once or twice a week, I'll be doing this. And I'll be doing this all the way through to where I can show you my book, actually published, tell you the audible stories about how the book is going and the stories that are coming out of the book. So I hope that the Lord blesses you with this, that you become a follower. Please subscribe. Subscribe. One of the most important things. If you don't sow into the seed financially, at least hit the subscribe button. When I actually take the finished work to the publisher and I have several hundred followers, it helps them because they don't have to start from scratch to develop a following. I already have a following, and then they can start funneling money to help to build on that following. Hey, I'm just watching to see what God does. And so I'm being obedient, and so the results are up to Him. There is a big teaching that I believe it came out of Creflo Dollar. I could be wrong, but that talks about it doesn't matter what it looks like. Trust God. The Hebrews, they got out of Egypt and they backed right up to the Red Sea. And the Red Sea, the Egyptians are coming after them. It doesn't matter what it looks like. God opened the sea. They went through it. Many different stories of it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. They were in Canaan. They wanted to go into they were in Saudi Arabia, and they wanted to go into the promised land of Canaan. And there were giants in the land. And only Caleb and Joshua said, come on, we can take them. But the other 10 said, no, No, don't. We can't defeat the giants. Doesn't matter what it looks like. God has the final answer. Doesn't. And the word also says, "Do not despise your humble beginnings. Just walk in obedience." I hope that's a word for somebody. It's got to be. So thank you for watching this video. I will post another video either sometime this week but it will be within 7 days, I promise. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.